name is Mona Reno, and today is May the 5th, 2017, and we are in Kingston, Nevada to interview Hines Miles for the Nevada Women's History Project's grant of the John Ben Snow Memorial Trust.
We're sitting here in my kitchen, and so my refrigerator is going to come on and off during this, and so there's going to be a little background noise, and I apologize for that. My name is Hines Miles. I live here in Kingston, Nevada. Have lived here since 2004. My parents are in Carson City. I grew up in Carson City from 1966. That's Tom and Marilyn Hines. And now I run a B&B out here in Kingston, and I have a medical clinic out here in Kingston.
So tell us a little about how you got here.
Well, actually, I knew about Kingston. Kingston is a relatively new town, but just before my husband and I got married, he wanted me to see something, and so he brought me out here to this building and said, "Oh, I always wanted to have a lodge." And I was hesitant, but I'm glad that we did it. It was a fun endeavor, remodeling this lodge and getting it going as a B&B.
And what's your husband's name?
John Miles.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so you said you're a physician's assistant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about your career here?
When we came here and started, I went to work for the gold mine down the way. They had a clinic for their employees, and I went to work there, and it was a great job. But we had some philosophical differences, and so I ended up quitting, and then we just were running the B&B here. But I love being a physician assistant, but I loved Kingston, and so it was obvious that I needed to have a clinic here in Kingston. And so I started down that path of creating a medical clinic here. And a good friend of mine, Carl Haas, gave me a great deal on the perfect piece of property. And so I started developing that and very quickly ran out of money. And so pitched the idea to Battle Mountain General Hospital about opening up a clinic down here, and the CEO was very excited about that and got on board with it and finished the funding and built the building and hired me. So here we are.
Do you have regular hours down there? People just call you when they need help?
Well, that was original during the development. I had a free clinic that I ran, and just to keep myself going on it and let people know that they could come to me if they needed help, and so people would. They'd knock on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning,
your home,
or come over during our dinner saying, George has got his arm cut, or and so we'd take care of them that way. And then now we have regular hours at the clinic, Monday through Thursday, from 8 till 5. Wow. But there's no after hours. And so we're working at trying to figure out how to get that done.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of stuff do you do there?
I do family practice, and so I do kids and old people and physicals, GYN stuff, ladies stuff. I sew people up. When people have trauma, they'll come in and say, does that look okay? And I'll say, yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And then the closest hospital now that Tonopah closed is 140 miles away in Fallon. And so if there's emergencies, if it's something that I think that they can make the trip, then I'll say get going. But otherwise I'll either call an ambulance or I'll call an air ambulance. And we have a helipad at our airport where our clinic is located. And so we can call like CareFlight or one of the air ambulances to come, and they land, and they're just great, and they get them where they need to go to a higher level of care.
It's wonderful having medical service so rural as this. Now, you said a physician's assistant. Can you just clarify what
a physician assistant? function as a medical doctor. It's just I collaborate with a doctor, an MD or a DO, to oversee. If I have questions, I can call them. But honestly, I've been doing this for long enough that I have a whole range of specialists that I can pick up the phone. I have an emergency doc who's a great friend of mine. I can call him day or night, Dr. Andrews, or ears, nose, throat, or orthopedics, or cardiology, and say, hey, would you mind looking at this, or this is what I've done, and what am I forgetting? What do I need to do? What can I do?
You're doing this for a population of under 200 people locally?
No, actually, Kingston has 80 of us that live here all the time, and maybe another 100 people that have second homes or vacation homes. But in a 100-mile radius, we have 5,000 people out here. You just don't see them. And the cool thing about doing medicine out here is the stoic Nevadan. You don't see them until the wife is dragging the husband, dragging a leg, and they're just a train wreck by the time they come in. And so you have to be on your game, and you just have to take the things that are the worst that's going to kill them, and you have to address that first. And then whether you can do something there, you have to send them. We have the ability to draw blood in our clinics on Wednesdays. We have EMS come down from Battle Mountain General Hospital and do our blood draws and then transport them back up to the laboratory, because it's a time issue with blood draws. It's important. And so we offer that service in the valley, which is huge. And then I'm about that far away from getting the x-ray machine. And that's going to bring in a lot of ability to provide a service that's very needed out here.
Is there a similar facility in Austin? Is there any kind of medical?
There was, Nevada Health Centers had a clinic there, but it just kept getting smaller and smaller, and it's just difficult to get providers out here in the rurals this far. And they had gotten down to like a half a day a week. And then a lot of times the provider wasn't available to come. And they would come from over in Eureka. Nevada Health Centers has a really nice clinic over there.
So when you say in the radius, there's those people, that's including the town of Austin, and that comes to you out here in Kingston.
Right.
That's wonderful.
I think so.
Thank you for doing that.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So you can sort of do that because of your second life here at Miles Inn's Bed and Breakfast in Kingston. And so tell us about what you do here. You're an owner or manager?
Like I said, we bought this in 2004, and it didn't look like this when we bought it. But we totally remodeled it, and with the help of very talented people and friends, and over 5 years of weekends, we worked on this until we had it like this, and then we had the opportunity to move out here. And it was just, okay, let's do something with it now. There's no place to stay out here. Let's try a B&B. Well, neither one of us have that kind of service hospitality experience. And so it was probably a good thing that we started in 2008 when everything crashed and became very slow. And the governor of Nevada was encouraging people to discover Nevada during this downtime. And so it worked a couple good ways for us. As one, it was slow, so we learned what we didn't know. And my husband, John, joined the B&B Guild, and he learned a lot and got a lot of support through the B&B Guild because I was working at the mine in the clinic down there. So he was the one that kind of got it off and we developed the rooms, we developed the advertisement, we started having these gourmet dinners here. And it was us two, and then we had two friends that were professional servers from Las Vegas that lived up here. And they said, well, we can do that. And so we learned a lot from them too, as far as service and food and prep and presentation and all that. And so we've since lost those people, and they've gone back to Vegas to work full time. And so it's just John and I, and so we weren't able to do the big gourmet dinners anymore. So now on Fridays, we open to the public because there's no place to eat here in Kingston. And so we open on Fridays and have people come, and we have fish tacos and steaks and hamburgers and, whatever. It changes all the time. And so they'll have a drink and food, and we'll sit and we'll chat, and it gives me a chance to see people too, and be social with them instead of seeing professionally at the clinic. So that's fun.
And your rooms are the ones you rent out. They're in separate cabins around us.
Right. This is the main lodge here, where we have our meals, and then so it's not a typical B&B, which is usually within the house, but we have outside cabins. We have a row of 3, and then we have a standalone cabin that we rent out. And 4 keeps us plenty busy.
Yeah. So that's how many rooms you could have, a maximum of 4 separate at a time.
Yes.
Yeah. And you said you were busy, like it's working. People have discovered rural Nevada like the governor wanted. They have.
Like, we're going to reopen for the season because we close in the wintertime. Reopen the season in a week, and we are booked for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
Now, the other part of living here is that you are a community, not really activist. You said volunteer fire department. And
You
tell
have
us about
to.
your community service.
You have to be a part of the community if you're going to live here. There's just not. Kingston is unique because it doesn't. The only tax dollars that we get are the ad valorem taxes for the people on the properties that we live here, and so we operate Kingston on $42,000 a year, period. We go beg some grants and from the county and for fire agencies and things like that, but that runs our fire department, our parks department, our road department, and so I had volunteered to be on the town board, and my 4 years just ended on January 1st, and it was a lot, but I think that we accomplished a lot. We got a lot of the open spaces that were original homeowners association. We got rid of that, and we got all that transferred to the town of Kingston, and so Kingston now has all the open space, with the promise that we wouldn't develop it. And so we adhere to that.
So there's actually a town with a survey, and when you drive in, it's kind of scattered, and it has a town boundary.
Yes, it does.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what kind of people live here?
It's that stoic Nevadan. A lot of them are retirees, or they work at the mine down there. And then there's a large population that have moved out from Carson City that are my husband and my age, because Carson's changed a lot since we graduated in the 70s, and we're looking for a quieter place, more community. Not saying that Carson doesn't. I think that I love Carson City, but.
Well, I want to get back to the community service part. You said fire department and
yes,
parks board?
Yes, my husband and I are both volunteer firefighters. I do more of the EMS stuff than, but there's problems with EMS and the rules as far as getting an ambulance and getting a license for an ambulance, and so we don't have that because we don't have enough EMS to warrant that, to get that license. And so I just show up and do the best that I can. If they give me a hose, then I'll put water on the fire. But for the most part, I take care of the people. And then there's always, there's 80 of us here, and there's 10 or 12 of people that do a lot of the same thing. And then John has kind of taken over the parks, and with funding and everything, we've developed a pavilion and grass and a irrigation system, the pond, the island, and it's just through a lot of volunteerism. Because when you only have $42,000 to work with, you rely on volunteerism, and I think that makes your community really tight. I went to school at UNR for my undergrad. I graduated with a degree in psych, and then I had to go out of state to Western University in California to get my PA because of all states that need PAs, physician assistants. Nevada didn't have one, but that's changing next year in that there's going to be a PA program through the University of Nevada, Reno, through medical school, and it's going to start in 2018. They're going to take 24 PAs or students, and one of the coolest things I've ever done in my entire life has been involved with this PA program. They contacted me to help shuffle through the 800 or 900 applications for the 24 spots. And then I got to interview them, and it was the most marvelous thing that I've ever done. It made me proud to be a Nevadan and proud to be a PA. Yeah.
So that might be what your message to the next generation would be, related to pursuing their dreams.
Oh, absolutely. With the PA school, I can proctor the students can come out and I can proctor them in family medicine, rural medicine. And so they've asked me to teach a class up at the university in rural medicine. And it's what it means is I give a talk. That's all it means. But then I can have them come out and shadow me and hang out with me before they go to PA school, during PA school, because of course we're going to need another PA out here when I get ready to retire. Or maybe we'll get so busy that we'll need another PA. So that's really important. And then through the med school for doctors, a lot of the doctors anymore are specializing. And it's my understanding through the university, because there's been a big change up there, that they require that the medical doctors now have a class in rural medicine and do a medical rotation in the rurals. So that's either going to be 4 to 6 weeks of, but in Nevada that's not hard to get because everything is considered rural outside of Reno and Las Vegas. So they can go to Carson, they can go to Elko, with populations of 50,000 people, and it's still considered rural. It's not like 80 people in Kingston.
Is UNLV involved at all in that process?
I understand that they have the medical school now, but this is a criteria that they are inserting into the medical school. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what would your message be to young people, young women?
My message for young people is don't let anything stand in your way. If you have a passion for this, then you need to pursue it. It's passion. It makes me well up. I'm sorry. It's an honor. Sorry. To take care of people, to allow them, for them to allow you into their very private world is an honor. But to know what you want to do, it takes clarity, and whether you be a PA or a bookkeeper or a B&B operator. Myself, it took a lot of years of going around and trying lots of different things. I've done everything. And I knew I always wanted to be a doctor or in a medical field, but it took a while for me to get real clear, to get my clarity on what I wanted to do. And once I got that, I left everything behind, jumped back into school, and started all over. And so it was 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of PA school. And now I've been doing it this is my 16th year, 17th year. Wow. And it just keeps getting better. The medicine is becoming very convoluted, but the basis of medicine doesn't ever change. It's taking care of people, and that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate your time and inviting us into your home and being a part of this wonderful program we have for interviewing women on Highway 50.
My honor. Thank you.